3 Super Bowl championships, a multiple Pro Bowl offensive lineman, and my friend, Fox NFL analyst Mark Schlereth, stopping by our show today. Now, you were what they call one of those big uglies. You were a blocker. So are you going to defend the running back here, MVP, Gurley? You love running backs.
Oh, not as much as I love Tom Brady. That dude is one handsome fella, man. Are you kidding me?
So when you had Elway and you had Terrell Davis,
right.
You know, people say Elway didn't win until he had a great running back.
Right. Yeah. Well, Terrell Davis had a 2,000-yard season.
Yeah.
Until he had a 2,000-yard season, he had a 1,700-plus yard season the year before. He was in the league MVP. Like, if you do something that exceptional, sure. You know, I get that. But think about it this way. When you think of the New England Patriots, who do you think about?
Brady.
Tom Brady. When you think of the Rams, who do you think about?
Sean McVay.
So do I. Sean McVay. I think about Jared Goff. I think about how they revamped that whole offensive line.
By the way, their left tackle he's an absolute, you know, everybody loves Ty Smith of the Cowboys.
Right.
1A is this Whitworth guy for the Rams. Goff never gets touched.
Right. Whitworth has been that good forever. Then I think of Aaron Donald. Like, Aaron Donald is a freak show. You want to talk about – here's the difference. MVP is the most valuable player. In a league that every rule is bent towards throwing the football, who else is going to be the most valuable player other than quarterbacks? Now, you want to make an argument that Carson Wentz, even though he's been hurt the last 3 weeks, still has better numbers, touchdown.
I think that's a good argument.
Then you can make that argument. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But you look at a league where everything is predicated on having a quarterback that can play, and a quarterback, every rule is bent that way, then obviously MVP to me, most valuable player. It's not about the best player. Aaron Donald might be the best player in football.
He probably is.
You know, there's a difference. It's why I've always had an issue, and people get, you know, it's funny how people in social media world take things that you say and just make them something else. So I talk about my hatred toward the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, I think it's stupid.
Well, I do too, but you know, when you sit there and say the award is for the best college football player.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's the best college football player that plays quarterback or running back. Like, I went back to 2002, and it's happened many, many times, but I went back to Terrell Suggs. 2002, for Arizona State, he had 24 sacks, 31 and a half tackles for losses, 6 forced fumbles, led the country in every category, it was not in the top 10 in Heisman voting.
I remember
Brad Banks was number 2. Do you remember who Brad Banks was?
No.
Anybody? Anyone?
No.
Anyone? No. And so I hate that award, that you call it the best college football players. No, it's not. And then everybody goes, well, then you hate Baker Mayfield. I don't hate Baker Mayfield. I don't know Baker Mayfield, but all of a sudden now I hate Baker Mayfield, and now I'm on the defensive and I'm fighting with people, you know, and you feel like a jerk because he's a kid, you know, and he's
not the best football player in Oklahoma.
He's not the best football player on the roster of Oklahoma. You watch the Rose Bowl and you look at that and you go, there's 5 or 6 guys that are going to translate better than the NFL than that kid will. Yeah. It doesn't mean he wasn't great at what he did. It doesn't mean he didn't have a great season. Hasn't been fun.
But I guess your point is MVP is most valuable.
Right.
Of course, a quarterback's most valuable.
Sure. If you want to say the Heisman is about, you know, like I call it the Hypesman, because that's what it is. It's hype.
Right.
It's the Hypesman Trophy. If you want to change the definition of what it is, then okay, I'm fine. If you want to say, hey, it's for the guy that touches the ball that has the biggest effect on college football in general.
Like a Tebow, Baker Mayfield.
Sure, great. But not, it irritates me that you're talking about the best college football player in the land and you don't include any defensive players. None. They're not allowed to win it. An offensive lineman, what if one of the guys from Notre Dame that can flat play.
The left tackle.
The left tackle, McGlinchey or Nelson, the guard. What if one of those guys is ultimately the best college football player in America? He will have a chance to win that award that says it's for the best college football player. So yeah. I just, the definition of it irritates me.
This is something I've talked about for years. That's why the Heisman, I don't buy into it. The other thing about the MVP is don't confuse talent with valuable. Gurley's talented. Sure. Brady's valuable. Okay, so I did a quarterback bracket this morning, and I
saw that. I was watching that.
Okay, so I put it up and I said I'm just going to go on quarterbacks because last year the best quarterback won every game. The only exception was Aaron Rodgers lost to Matt Ryan, but Aaron Rodgers was sick as a dog, and last year Matt with Kyle Shanahan, numbers, home, was arguably as good as Aaron Rodgers. So I went through the entire NFL. I picked solely on quarterback. I have Brady beating Breeze. And as I look at it, the only time I struggled with this, you could say Matt Ryan, Jared Goff. But I think this right now, Jared's playing better than Matt Ryan. And I think right now, Tyrod Taylor is better than Blake Bortles in this moment because of his mobility. So when you look at this bracket, do you kind of buy best quarterback wins in the playoffs?
Yeah. One, I agree with Kristine that it's kind of creepy looking, right?
It is,
It
right?
is a little
I don't
bit
know
with
what
all
it
his
is.
faces. It's kind of creepy,
It's like
right?
mug shots.
Yeah.
Or like a collection of heads.
Yes. And then the fact that you black them out and only Brady is in color.
It's weird.
That's a little weird, too.
I support that.
But I will say that I have a hard time arguing that poll. When you look at that, I think the thing that would change that for me is if you had a unit that was a once-in-a-generational unit.
Did you ever face one of those?
Yeah, the Ravens in 2000.
Okay, tell the story.
So we go to play now.
If you're facing like an all-time, by the way, what was the Denver secondary a couple years ago? It was called the
no-fly zone.
No-fly zone. Like they can change best quarterback winning.
So Minnesota's got a great defense, but is there one guy that you look at and say, if we don't find a way to double team that guy every single play, he's going to wreck this game? No, there's not. They've got a lot of really good. Griffin's a good player. Hunter's a good player. Bell Joseph's a great player. I mean, on and on and on it goes, but it's not that once in a generational type thing. So in 2000 was my last year with Denver, and I got hurt. I had just a terrible knee, and it ended up ending my career and ended up having surgery in November, and that was it. It was a wrap. But we played them in the playoffs. And so I was Alex Gibbs was our offensive line coach, and I was kind of, quote unquote, assistant, not really assistant, but, I was helping out and looking at the film. And we went through the whole week. Nobody ran the ball on the Ravens. I mean, nobody. There was no one, right? And so we go through there, and we ran the ball on everybody. So we're like, we're all confident in our room, like, this is why we're going to run the ball on the Ravens, and this is what we're going to do to the Ravens. And nobody's ever done this to the Ravens, right? So we went on and on and on with all this stuff about how we're going to do it. We went 18 carries for 42 yards in that game. They opened a can of whoop ass on us, right? And in the third quarter, my offensive line coach looked at me after we just got shut out on 3-and-out again, and we're all, dragging, lip hanging down off the field as the guys are coming off. He looked at me and just went, like, ain't nothing we can do, man.
It's Ray Lewis, it's Saragusa,
Sam Adams. We're just tying up. Ray Lewis was tackling practice. He was running around literally, there was nobody who put a hand on him. He just ran around and just bam, just killing people.
So you believe largely every year if you just went best quarterback, you'd win unless there's a generationally gifted unit, and the Ravens were for you.
Ravens were for me. Maybe you have a great offensive line and kind of running combination.
Raiders had a couple of those back in the John Madden era where you had this incredible Art Shell, Upshaw, like these like Hall of Fame guys across the line.
Right. Well, I think you go back to the Super Bowl that I played in, Super Bowl 32, where Green Bay's a 13-point favorite over us, and Elway's late in his career, and Favre is still in his prime, kind of, right?
Right.
And it's a 13-point favorite, but TD had 2,000 yards, and our running game was just different. It was just a different animal. And but nothing like the Ravens 2000 team. I mean, I'm not trying to compare us to
right.
Like the Ravens 2000 team they're freak shows, right? I mean, they're just what they are.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.